It's Tuesday, the 4th of August 2015, and I'm back at White Notley station to do a 7.5 mile stretch along the Essex Way to Coggeshall. I've now walked down the road and I've joined the Essex Way, which goes up there. Now heading along the Essex Way along this pleasant lane, and it's really lovely weather today, a bit breezy. A little further on the lane, the Essex Way turns left along this pleasant track. The track comes to this junction where the Essex Way turns right, up there to go under the railway. Now heading under the Braintree Branch Railway along the Essex Way. After the railway, the track is very pleasant indeed. Still heading along the pleasant track, heading towards the church at Cressing. There appear to be other walkers up ahead. Looking back the way I've come, there's a very pleasant view back along the track. And that's the way forward on the Essex Way. And there's the usual evidence that we're on the Essex Way, and after a horrendous stretch along a main road, fortunately with a pavement, the Essex Way turns right along this path which leads to Cressing Church. Now at All Saints Church, Cressing, the Essex Way follows a footpath to the right of the churchyard. And there's another view of the church, All Saints Church at Cressing. Now on the Essex Way on the path on the right hand side of Cressing Churchyard. Good views to my right. The walk passes this pleasant pond, heading out to another road shortly. The Essex Way comes to this road where it turns right for 250 yards to take a path on the left. The walk at last turns left off the road along this path. After a few yards, the track emerges from the trees to this wide Essex landscape. The Essex Way now follows this hedge and ditch on the right. And there's confirmation that we're on the Essex Way. And that's the way forward, still following this hedge and ditch. The way turns right along this track by this hedge on the left. Further on, the Essex Way turns left along this hedged path. The way turns right along this path beside a ditch on the left. It's getting quite windy now. Here's a change of scene. The way crosses a small road and takes this wooded footpath just to the left. You go along the road a couple of yards and carry on along this path. The walk crosses this road, which apparently leads to a sandpit. And there is the sandpit. Looking to my right as I'm crossing the road. That's the way of the Essex Way. Now on this fairly pleasant path which leads to another road. The way now turns right along this minor road. About 150 yards up the road, where it bears sharply right, the Essex Way turns left. Down here. Now heading along this valley. At this point, the way turns right, up here. The path in the last clip leads out to this wide gravel track across the Essex countryside. Heading towards Coggeshall on the wide track of the Essex Way. The walk passes Grange Barn, one of the great grain barns of Essex. It's now in the care of the National Trust. After crossing a road, the Essex Way goes along the gravelled Abbey Lane. The walk passes St Nicholas Chapel, Coggeshall. This is a 12th century building, and prior to the dissolution of the monasteries, it was a gatehouse to the nearby Cistercian Abbey. It was only restored to sacred use in the late 19th century. Before that, it was used as an agricultural building. Now crossing the River Blackwater in Coggeshall. Yes, we're nearly at the end of today's walk. About 60 yards beyond crossing the River Blackwater, the Essex Way turns left. That way. Heading towards the main road in Coggeshall along the Essex Way. Now at the road in Coggeshall. And there is the magnificent church in Coggeshall and the end of today's walk along the Essex Way.